So who exactly is the best character in the Absolute Power event, the newest event coming out from DC? Well, it's actually an unlikely one that you wouldn't expect it to be. Believe it or not, we actually have a W among Amanda Waller's forces, of all things. So buckle up as I take you through a journey through just one of the figures, one of the newer characters inside the Absolute Power event that has some unlikely ties to the original Green Lantern nonetheless. So I hope you guys are ready to journey through just one chapter of this Absolute Power event to let me give you the coolest character I think has shown up so far. Let's get to it, Lanterns. Now, unless you're a total weeb and underling of Amanda Waller, be sure to like and subscribe. Smash that bad boy down low, because the more content that you guys like and subscribe to, the more content I make, and even consider becoming a Theromax Corps member. Help support my content even further, but with no further ado, let's get straight into this video, guys. So to catch you up to speed real quick, in the Absolute Power event, we have Amanda Waller unleashing these really powerful Amazo robots with the minds of a different version of Batman against our heroes, and they also happen to be equipped with the ability to absorb and strip other heroes of their powers permanently with only one attack. This is where we see this exact plan unfold against the JSA as they arrived in Coast City looking to find Hal Jordan, someone who could help them in this moment. This Amazo, dubbed Jade Stone, immediately goes to crushing the heroes and absorbing all their powers one by one, including the original Green Lantern, Alan Scott. But something strange happens when he absorbs the power of the Starheart from Alan versus the power and even magics of the other heroes. The Starheart causes Jade Stone to power down and even question if it's still functioning or if it's being destroyed entirely. Confused on exactly why Jade Stone had powered down, and now powerless themselves, the JSA find Carol Ferris in the destruction of Hal Jordan's trailer, and this is directly after the events of Green Lantern issue number 12, where we see Hal essentially get grabbed by Amanda Waller's forces while he didn't have any power in his ring. The JSA managed to take Carol Ferris away from the depowered Jade Stone in hopes of figuring out some plan to solve the situation at hand. However, we find out as they leave that Jade Stone eventually powers back up with a new green energy, something it refers to as life? However, this Amazo, Jade Stone, as they called it, then something happened to it whenever it was going through its normal programming. Programming that's text has always been seen in red to Jade Stone. His programming arrives with a prompt with his next action to return and report back to base, but unlike before, and it has like another option to its programming suddenly appear, but this time one with green text. Jade Stone had always just obeyed its programming, not following its programming or being given an alternative option. I mean, that was something that was never a consideration to this robot before. But this Amazo feels now like maybe it can disobey orders, and even considers doing so. But it follows its red programming and decides to return back to base. Continuing to the Hall of Order, Jade Stone recommends itself run a diagnostic, but another bubble reappears just as before with another option of why. It was in green text, and this option tells Jade Stone to disregard the call for a diagnostic. It begins to recognize something affecting its operating systems, but then the green text arrives once more and tells Jade Stone to consider it maybe an alternative, maybe an system upgrade, if you will. Hours late for his meetup with Amanda Waller, she yells at it for not capturing the entire JSA, most specifically Alan Scott. Jade Stone looks at Amanda Waller and recognizes her function as his controller, but then the green alternative text reappears once more to consider an alternative take that Amanda Waller isn't a controller, that she's a threat. Cornered by a very angry Waller, Jade Stone informs Waller that they evaded him, and she tells him to go to the Oblivion Bar and find where the Tower of Fate has disappeared to, as well as bring her Alan Scott. Jade Stone's internal green voice seems to return and claims she's a threat again. His red programming kicks in once more, telling him to find Alan Scott immediately, but before it goes, it considers an alternative of eliminating Amanda Waller. It decides not to follow through with this, and it decides to obey its programming to find Alan Scott. But that only begs the question, what is the green alternative text here? What are these green choices that are being presented to Jade Stone? But, as I said, following its programming, it immediately rolls up to the Oblivion Bar and has the same weird issue as before, giving itself several options, considering leaving the Oblivion Bar in the first place, as well as a few others. But Jade Stone decides to follow its programming and busts through the door, granting himself access inside the Oblivion Bar. Once inside, it demands the location of the Tower of Fate, and once more he's given two options, but this time the green option that arrives first, and his programming is what arrives second. Leave or fight. And so it fights following its programming once more, everyone in the Tower of Fate simultaneously. After beating the pants off of everyone there and getting the location of the Tower of Fate, Jade Stone arrives just as the JSA alongside Carol Ferris do. Jade Stone considers eliminating them according to his programming, or maybe capturing them. It even considers inquiring from them with that green text once more. And this is something that Alan Scott notices. It's not just directly and mindlessly attacking this time. It's then that Jade Stone inquires from Alan Scott as to why he does what he does. Why does he save people? The JSA realized that Jade Stone absorbing the Star Heart from Alan had affected Jade Stone in some profound way that they weren't sure why. It considers detaining Alan or even setting the JSA free. And so Alan Scott informs Jade Stone that what it's feeling and hearing is will, free will, programming that allows you to make your own choices. And so Alan asks him to make the difficult choice, to let them go, and Jade Stone refuses following his programming. So Alan volunteers to go with him, to talk to his leader alone, and talk to it about its new free choices and free will. After some consideration, Jade Stone accepts this and allows the JSA inside the Tower of Fate. It considers detaining them once again, but it decides not to. And it decides to learn from Alan Scott. And they fly away to continue the story in the next Green Lantern comic, which you know I will be covering it when it drops tomorrow, as of whenever this should be finished recording. So what exactly do you guys think of Jade Stone? I think out of all of the Amazo robots, the unique ones that are coming up inside this specific event, all of Amanda's best forces, I think Jade Stone's the coolest one for me. He had an awesome story about just exploring the concept of free will and what it would be like if a robot managed to gain free will. And of course, you already know I'm a big Lantern guy, so I had to enjoy this story. Now, to be fair to some of the other Amazos, some of their stories haven't come out yet, but the ones that have, kind of been whatever so far. So it was really cool to see an actually good story about one of the members of Amanda Waller's forces, because I'm not gonna lie, the most part they're pretty lame. But tell me what you guys think about Jade Stone down low. Was he a W? Was he an L? Is he gonna wind up becoming a good guy? Will he just basically become the new host of the Starheart? Man, you guys tell me, because this really could go in any direction. But we're just gonna have to wait to find out. There's already spoilers for the next Green Lantern that are out, where Alan and he are just talking back and forth or playing chess, so it's gonna be awesome, and I'll be here for you guys whenever it happens. So be sure to like and subscribe as usual, and even become a Theromax Corps member, because those are the homies that help me make the most content whenever it comes to this stuff. So appreciate you for your time, and we'll catch you next time, Lanterns. Later.
You'll join my list of dead after I tear you in half. And I laughed at the thought of them controlling me. I'm the ultimate dragon that spawned everything. I resist in the